Good morning, students. Welcome back to my 28th lecture of your subject code CPC 505, subject Environmental Engineering 2. Now we are in the module 5, that is the wastewater treatment. In continuation of my earlier lectures, we are discussing, so far you remember, the biological treatment of wastewater. We have described the activated sludge process. We have described the trickling filter. Now we are going to deliver today the speech oxidation ditch. Fine. Now what is the oxidation ditch? You see the diagram, it is in oval shape. It is an extended aeration system, that much I can tell you. So it is a activated sludge process in modified activated sludge process, where the extended aeration type ASP rather we can say. So what do you mean by the extended aeration type? Because you see the length is long and the width is narrow. It is an elliptical shape, and the F by M is that is the food by microorganism is maintained low, that is 0.05 to 0.15. So what is food? Food means the carbonaceous organic matter which will be oxidized by the organic matter, and M is the biomass. So that means we can say the food by microorganism ratio is less, means it is the endogenous respiration. It is tending to the endogenous respiration of the biomass. That means the sludge amount will be less and it can be sent to the sludge drying bed with sand bed. So that is the advantage here. Sludge quantity is less compared to the activated sludge process, conventional activated sludge process. So I am showing you in the figure the aerators, because oxygen aeration is being done by aerator, and the flow of the liquid, flow of wastewater is shown by the arrow. And why elliptical shape? Because in oval shape there should not be any dead condition arising. You see the wastewater will be effluent, will be going back to the right hand portion. I have shown the settling tank. So two types of the flow is occurring in the extended aeration process. One is the continuous flow type, and another is the intermittent flow type. So what do you mean by the continuous flow type and what do you mean by the intermittent flow type? That I must say. You see the from SST, that is the secondary sedimentation tank, if the activated sludge is recycled back as shown in the arrow, then it is continuous. Then I am omitting the SST and it will be treated as the intermittent tank. And in this intermittent tank, the sludge will be allowed to settle in the basin, and through the scraper, the time to time the sludge will be removed from the basin. That is the basic technology we are maintaining in two types of extended aeration system, that is the oxidation ditch which you are describing now. Now let us have a glance that the growth rate, that is the growth rate of the biomass. If you see the growth rate of the biomass and the that the substrate utilization, I have seen, I am showing you the growth rate of organism, that is the parabolic curve. You can see it is drawn in black color, and simultaneously the food, the substrate, the organic matter which is consumed by the bacteria, you can see that it is shown in the blue color. So as the biomass is increasing trend, then the blue color is decreasing trend. That means the substrate is consumed by the biomass, so the food is in decreasing and the biomass is increasing. Now there are four phases. Let me describe the whole thing, then I will show the diagram in the editing phase. That means let me clarify the diagram first. Now what is the significance of this diagram? This is basically the growth rate of the organism and the substrate utilization rate of the organic matter, that is the substance means organic matter, that is the food of the organism. Now in the first stage, rather I would say in the lag phase, first stage means it is in the lag phase, second stage log phase, third stage declining growth, and the fourth one is the endogenous phase that you can see from this diagram. Now that I will first define what is the log phase. Initially when the activated sludge, that means suppose you consider the SP in the settling, initially in the very beginning of the treatment, just inflow when starts coming into the tank for the treatment, then the sludge secondary in the secondary sedimentation tank, there is no sludge because treatment just started. So there is no question of the recirculation of the sludge from the secondary sedimentation tank. So initially the biomass is less in the aeration tank. So F by M ratio, the food, that is the organic matter, is more, but the biomass is less. Moreover, the initial time, at the initial time of the treatment, there will be some time where the biomass will take time for taking the adaptation with the food, and that is called the acclimatization process. Acclimatization means the time required by the biomass to adapt the condition to take the food, to take the organic matter. So in that period, that is called the lag phase, that is the initial phase, the biomass will not be in growth condition. There will be no growth in biomass in spite of the food, that is the substrate, that is the organic matter present in the wastewater, because as I have told you, there is a acclimatization process, adaptation process that biomass will require to adapt with that carbonaceous organic matter. So initially we can't expect the growth of the biomass with this immediately adding the substrate. So that is called the lag phase. So lag phase means there is no growth of the biomass because some time will be required for biomass to adapt the situation. Second phase, when the biomass process the acclimatization phase, that is the adaptation is complete, then it will be converting from lag phase to log phase, that is the biomass will be in growth condition, inhaling the foods, that is that from that food, from that substrate, from that carbonaceous organic matter, consuming that, the biomass will increase in their growth, and that is called the log phase, that is the rate of growth will be in increasing order. And after the certain time, that boundary I have already shown you, that is at the junction of the log phase and the decline phase. From when the log phase ends, that means you see the substrate utilization rate, that is the food utilization rate, as the biomass consumes food more and more. So what will happen? The food will be decreasing. So at a time will come when there will be no sufficient food, then the increasing rate will be stopped and the biomass growth will be in declining growth, which is the third phase. That is the declining growth, because the food is decreasing, food is utilized by the biomass. I mean to say the substrate, that is the carbonaceous organic matter, will be utilized by the biomass. So the log phase process and the declining phase will be occurred. That means the increasing rate of the biomass will be decreased. That is the biomass will be in growth condition in decreasing rate. Suppose if you see that in log phase there are 4 numbers of biomass increase, that numbers will be decreased to 2 numbers. This is like this case. And if it continues at a time, there will be no sufficient food at all. There will be no sufficient food, and the biomass will just synthesize their own cell, because the food is already present in the biomass cell. That from that cell they will take the energy and they will synthesize, and the metabolism will occur from their cell itself, because they will not get the food, and that is called the endogenous phase. So I am just showing you again the in editing portion of my notes, what will happen, that again I am just, this is very very important phase which I am showing in editing. You see, first the wastewater is coming, and then when the effluent comes to the SST, then the sludge makes. But initially sludge is not occurred, so there is no question of recirculation. So initially the biomass concentration in the aeration tank, in the aerated tank, that is in the reactor, is very less compared to the food. But as I have told you, that I have shown you the arrow, the lag phase, as I have told you that in this period, that is the adaptation period, that is the acclimatization period, because bacteria will take time to adapt that food, that organic matter. So immediately growth cannot be happen. Now when the lag phase process is shown, you see that by arrow I am trying to show you the log phase, where the increasing growth rate will occur. That means biomass will utilize the organic matter and substance, and there is an increasing rate of the biomass in occur. Simultaneously, I am showing you in arrow the food is decreasing, that is the consumption pattern is increasing. So availability of the food is decreasing, while the increasing rate of growth of the biomass occurs, because this is a competition. Two simultaneous kinetics occur. One is the growth of the bacteria and growth of the biomass, another is the utilization of the substrate. This competition, this simultaneous occurrence will be there. One, it is increasing, and food simultaneously will be decreasing. You see, I have shown you 4 dotted, that means initially the 4 bacteria is there. Then the growth of the bacteria will be 2. Why? Because after the log phase, the increasing rate will be decreased, so there will be a declining growth of the biomass, which I am showing in the circle, that from the 4 biomass, say for example, it will come to the 2 biomass, that is the declining growth rate will be observed. So one competition, and finally when endogenous phase is there, because food is limited, so there is a competition. Biomass will get the energy from their cell, and they will metabolization occurs from their respective cell. They will take the energy from their cell, and they will growth will occur. So these 4 important phase. One is the lag phase, second one is the log phase, third one in the declining phase, and endogenous phase. Mostly the activated sludge process are in declining growth, and the aerated extended aeration, that is the oxidation pond, which I am oxidation ditch which I am describing you, that is in the endogenous phase. That is the difference between the oxidation ditch, the extended aeration system, and the activated sludge process. In the activated sludge process, predominantly the biomass is in the declining, that is the biomass is in the declining phase, and in extended aeration it is in the endogenous decay. Now you see, if the food is sufficient, biomass is sufficient, what will happen? I am showing you in the diagram plotting that dot 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 are the food, and the biomass, the food are scattered, and the biomass also are more. So there will be a scattering position of the biomass and the food, because there are biomass is more and food is more, so scattered portion will occur. So the sludge will not be dense, because it will not come to close, so it will dense sludge will not occur. But when I am talking for F is more, and microbiomass in the endogenous phase it is less, biomass is less, then in the lower space area the less biomass will be concentrated to utilize this food, and the dense sludge will be occurred. So in the endogenous phase, so far we are discussing the oxidation ditch. In this extended aeration system, the dense sludge, that is the dense biomass, will be obtained. So this is the advantage we can say in the extended aeration process. In endogenous decay, the dense biomass will be occurred. So this is one thing I am just telling you. Endogenous decay, endogenous process is due to the insufficient food, and they are the biomass getting the energy from the cell itself, and they synthesize their cell, and the flock formation, that is the sludge, since the sludge quantity is less, so it can be converted into the sludge drying bed, and foods saved into the body of the biomass in this stage worked as a metabolism already saved in the cell, that worked as a, that is working as a metabolism purpose. So this is the thing, this is the basic difference between the activated sludge process and the oxidation dish, that is the extended aeration system, because here the sludge is less and the sludge quantity is very less, and the handling of the sludge is also very easy, and it can be converted into the sludge drying bed, and the dense, as I have told you, F by M ratio is very less, so it can be it can produce the dense sludge. Now, as you know that this since the F by M ratio is less, so this you see the limitation of this extended aeration process, it can work for 3 to 4 million liters per day, because the aeration, extended aeration is limitation having the 3 to 4 million liters per day that capacity, because more volume, more capacity treatment, this extended aeration process will have some problem. So that is, since the aeration required to be more, so it is limiting for the 3 to 4 million liters per day treatment, not beyond that. Generally, it is being followed. Now, operational difficulties, I must explain you what are the operational difficulties in the standard ASP, that is the activated sludge process, and for that the activated extended aeration system, the modified activated sludge process has been done, and two main operational problems we are facing, that is in the activated sludge process. One is the floating sludge and another is the sludge bunking. What is the floating sludge? Floating sludge is, first let me tell you, in floating sludge actually, if the, I am telling you first, then I will editing the thing. First let me explain that what is the difference between floating sludge and sludge bunking. Fine. In activated sludge process, suppose if DO is more, dissolved oxygen aeration is more than optimum, then what will happen? This more DO, then the biomass will go for nitrification of the matter, because not only the oxidation of the carbonaceous organic matter, but also the nitrification also will have to be done, will be done. So if more oxygen is there present in the system, what will happen? More DO, due to increase in number of DO, then the nitrification and denitrification has been done. What is denitrification? Because nitrate to nitrogen is a denitrification, and due to denitrification, that if nitrogen gas is evolved, then this nitrogen gas will tend to uplift the sludge into the surface. So that is called the floating sludge. Since this nitrogen gas bubble forming due to that denitrification, that will tend to uplift the sludge, and what will happen? The problem will, that sludge may go along with the effluent, and what effluent after the treatment we are getting, it might contain, due to this floating sludge condition, some sludge, that is some biomass along with some carbonaceous organic matter. So it will require further treatment to get the clarified water. So this problem is there if over dissolved oxygen, over aeration is there. Simultaneously, if the inadequate aeration is there, then what will happen? Then the sludge bulking will be formed. Let me show you how it is being done. I am just editing these things and you will observe this thing. Suppose floating sludge, as I have told you, that to remove carbonaceous BOD only. Okay. Now the sludge generally is high. Okay. Now dissolved oxygen if more, then the sludge will be high. What does it mean? Because nitrification, nitrates are converted into nitrogen, and these nitrogen gas will just uplift the sludge into the surface. So there is a problem. So sludge will be in floating condition, as I have immediately told you. So this nitrification and in the SST, that means the secondary settling tank, from the nitrified, that nitrogen gas is evolved during the denitrification process, and from nitrate to nitrogen gas is evolved. So this will form a floating surge. You can follow my note, the running note, then you can understand how the floating surge is being occurred into the aeration in the SST, that is the secondary sedimentation tank. So this is the floating. So sludge volume index is very important. So how to solve this problem? Because if you reduce the dissolved oxygen, then it can be, if you have to maintain the optimum dissolved oxygen, then this problem can be avoided, so that the denitrification cannot be done, nitrogen gas will not be evolved, and in that case condition, if the nitrogen gas is not evolved, then the floating sludge can be prevented. This is the one of the disadvantage. And sludge waste rate, will increase, sludge rate will decrease. So these can be prevented, and if sludge waste rate is increased and sludges can be decreased, then automatically this floating sludge condition can be avoided. So we have to go for the optimum aeration, that is the solution. Not beyond that, more the aeration, more than the optimum aeration, we have to go for the aeration. Now, I was discussing about the sludge sludge bulking. So what is sludge bulking? Let me tell you that sludge bulking means there will be a filamentous growth of bacteria of the microorganism. It is due to the poor settability of the sludge. It is due to the poor settability of the sludge. When sludge volume index is that filamentous, the filamentous bacteria, what they will form, actually this type of filamentous bacteria, solid, I mean to say that the solid concentration is not so effective in the sludge concentration, and so dense sludge will not be occurred. Sludge bulking will be so rapid, less in MLSS, so rapid loss in MLSS. So sludge bulking problem will create the rapid loss in MLSS, and this is occurred due to why sludge bulking is occurred, because of the poor selectivity characteristic due to filamentous growth of the bacteria, due to growth of filamentous bacteria. So growth of filamentous organism form the poor selectivity, and the sludge bulking is occurred. You see, I am showing you, this is how the filamentous bacteria is looking like, and in this filamentous bacteria is more. Then what will happen? They will himself create a structure, and the flock will not form by the sludge, because the bacteria, the sludge material, that is the dissolvable colloidal matters, when it is absorbed by the bacteria, if it is more than filamentous organisms are there, they themselves form a structure, and it will be very difficult to make a formed flock. So definitely the good flock, the flock will not be formed, so very difficult to remove the sludge because of this problem, the sludge bulking phenomena, because of growth of the filamentous microorganism, that is the filamentous bacteria. Because specific surface are very high of that filamentous growth of bacteria, and so they themselves will create a structure, and it is very difficult to flock it is very difficult to form the flock and to settle and to solve the problem. So this is the sludge bulking. I can tell you these two problems can be solved by providing the optimum dosage of the aeration, that is the dissolved oxygen. So inadequate air supply, if we go for more than air supply, then we have seen that the floating sludge problem is there. if we provide inadequate air supply and low pH, obviously if there is a low pH in acidic condition, then the and along with the prolonged detention time, then there will be a problem in the sludge bulking. So these three factors have to be kept in mind so that the sludge bulking should not be formed. Now I want to share you the just a minute. Yes, then we can. I think you can see my lecture note, that is in extended aeration process. As we have seen, we have maintained the low organic loading rate, that is the F/m, and long aeration time is used to operate the process at endogenous respiration phase of the growth curve. Basically, that is the main motto. We have to go for the endogenous phase of growth curve. Since the cells undergo endogenous respiration, the excess sludge generated in this process is low, and the sludge can directly be applied on the sand drying beds where aerobic digestion and dewatering of the sludge occurs. So the primary sedimentation can be eliminated when extended aeration process is used to simplify the operation of sludge handling. That means no primary settling tank is required. Simply by screening operation, the raw sewage can be applied, can be inflow. The inflow of the raw sewage after the preliminary treatment, that is after the bar skin operation, can be the sewage can be sent into that extended aeration system without providing the primary sedimentation tank. So that is there. The primary sedimentation tank can be eliminated with this extended aeration process, and it is operation of handling of the sludge handling is very easy, as I have shown you, because there is no problem of sludge bulking or the floating sludge in this case of extended aeration system, because you are maintaining the aeration properly, and this type of activated sludge process is suitable for small capacity plant. I have shown you 3 to 4 million liter capacity per day, because if more capacity plant is there, then there will be a problem of extended aeration. So it is the limitation is it is usable for the limited that is the for the small capacity plant. Packaged sewage treatment plant, for any industrial waste treatment plant of capacity less than 3000 meter cube per day, and it is very highly suitable for that. And this process simplifies the sludge treatment and separates sludge thickening, and digestion is not occurred, because main thing, the handling of the sludge can be solved by the process of the extended aeration vis-a-vis the oxidation this process. The aeration tank in this case is greatly completely mixed type. So the lower F/m ratio, we have seen the extended aeration system, the lower F/m ratio, that is the 0.05 to 0.15 is maintained, and the volumetric loading, that is the BOD by volume of the tank, that is the 0.1 to 0.4 kg BOD per meter cube per day is used for designing the extended aeration system. And the mixed liquor suspended solid concentration, that is the biomass microorganisms, we are maintaining 3000 to 6000 milligram per liter. Mean cell residence time, that is the solid retention time, so that is 20 to 30 days is maintained, and higher mean cell residence time is necessary to maintain endogenous growth phase of microorganism. The hydraulic retention time is maintained 18 to 36 hours, and the sludge recirculation ratio, we have seen that 0.75 to 1.5, and this is in the oxidation ditch is an example, as I've shown you, of the particular type of extended aeration system where the aeration tank is constructed in the ditch shape, oval shape. Why oval shape? Because that if the elliptical shape, that is a round shape, will prevent the dead storage of the flow. Dead storage of the flow means there should not be flow, there should not be it will maintain the continuation of the flow, and it will not allow any stagnation of the flow. That I want to maintain. That I want to say. And the aeration tank consisting of a ring-shaped channel 1 to 1.5 meter deep. Deep is 1 to 1.5 meter of suitable width, forming a depth. Now width is determined depending on the size of the rotor by which the mechanical device by which the aeration is pushed into the system, and the aeration rotor consisting of the mechanical well-equipped rotor, that is the consisting of Kirchner brush and all these things, is placed across the ditch to provide aeration and wastewater circulation at velocity of 0.3 to 0.6 meter. Fine. The oxidation ditch can be operated as intermittent with fill of draw cycles consisting of the closing inlet valves and aerating the wastewater for duration equal to design detention ditch. Why there is a closing inlet valve? Because we have mentioned that two type of system is there. One is the intermittent flow system and is the continuous. So intermittent system, the sludge will not be recirculated back. Instead of the unlike the continuous mode system. So in that case, the inlet closing valve will be closed and the sludge will allow it to settle in the intermittent time, and then by scraper, mechanical scraper, time to time by manually, the sludge will be removed from the tank. So when the this cleaning operation will be done, that is the sludge settlement is done and the sludge removing is done, then the opening of the inlet and outlet valve allowing incoming wastewater to displace the clarified effluent. And in case of the continuous operation, then it is operated as a flow-through system where wastewater is continuously admitted. The vertical mounted mechanical aerators are used to provide the oxygen supply and at the same time to provide sufficient horizontal velocity or not showing the cells for not allowing the cells to settle at the bottom of the ditch. Now separate sedimentation tank is used to settle the sludge, and the settled sludge is recirculated to maintain the MLVSS, that means mixed liquor volatile suspended solid, in the oxidation ditch. Now the excess sludge generation in the oxidation ditch is less than the conventional ASP, as I am repeatedly telling you. So this is all about the oxidation ditch. So I will close it at here. So thank you very much. I will close it at here. So thanks all.